During the 2010 Australian Open men's final, there was a live event going on hosted by Will Hamilton from Fuzzy Yellow Balls and Ian Westerman from EssentialTennis.com. That's fuzzyyellowballs.com. Pete was courtside representing TennisAssist.com, giving courtside analysis for what was going to be a great match.
Well, great match, a great atmosphere. There was a massive storm building up in Melbourne leading into the evening. The roof was shut for the match beforehand, and I thought, had the roof stayed shut for the Federer-Murray final, I would have thought it maybe favour Federer that little bit more. However, the match, on entering the courts, the roof was open, and the players coming out, look, great atmosphere all around, the crowd going nuts for the sentimental favourite in Andy Murray, but also for Federer, probably for the fact he's won 15 Grand Slams before this.
And from your vantage point, you're obviously only a few rows back, Pete. What did you feel? Could you actually see maybe Andy Murray shaking on his way out? Was he a little bit nervous?
Couldn't see much for a little bit because everyone in front of me was standing up.
Yeah.
But look, I was only 5 seats back, and it was a very good position to watch the match and just watch the players' footwork. First set there, Andy Murray was very heavy in his feet, and that's unlike him. He's a very light-footed traveller around the court. But yeah, he was a little bit heavy, a bit nervous from both players, obviously. But that's only to be expected on the occasion, right there.
Yeah, that's interesting that you say about his footwork, because I remember in one of our interviews with John Newcomb, he said that when people tense up, you can have the best footwork in the world on the practice court, but once the nerves hit you, your feet stop for some strange reason. So you've obviously seen that in maybe Andy Murray. Okay, so the first set. What's your take on how it unfolded?
Yeah, look, it was quite an interesting first set. Federer got away to the early break there, and through no real fault of Andy Murray other than just the nerves. However, Federer let him back in that early in that first set there with just a few shots where he probably could have put him into an open court, but put him back where Murray was able to get a racket on them, and that helped Murray relieve himself of this nerves as it progressed in the early stages of that first set.
Yeah, it didn't look like he was too keen to go for too much too early. It looked like he was dusting off the nerves early in that first set.
And not a bad way to be, providing you don't just sort of push the ball around. You've still got to be quite authoritative, I guess, in the way that you play, and that's something that Federer grew on as the first set progressed.
Not going too close to any lines.
Yeah, well, look, the rallying was mainly up and down the middle of the court or within a couple of feet of the sideline. Probably the biggest telling factor in that opening set was where it changed up was Federer started to chip the second serve return of Andy Murray, and just brought him forward a little bit more than what he would like to. He doesn't mind coming forward, Andy Murray, but more so on his terms, not having been sort of pulled forward from Roger Federer off that slice second serve. But the reason that comes about too, Federer puts a lot of pressure on your second serve, which really puts a lot more pressure on your first serve. So Murray was going for his first serve a lot more, missing it because he's trying to get a few cheaper points or free points off it, and wasn't to be the case, and with just 45% first serves in that first set there for Andy Murray.
Yeah, if you know your opponent is going to attack your second serve, you obviously really don't want to give him a second serve, and like you say, that just doubles the pressure on the first serve, making sure it's in. Now, the other thing, I suppose, as well, by shortening the court, like you were saying, Federer bringing Andy Murray in, shortening the court, well, that obviously means that he can hit the ball. He has to hit the ball softer to keep it in the court. He can't actually exert all that power, so it actually brings the pace of the ball down. Yeah,
a little bit softer, or he's got to hit it heavier and that sort of stuff. But the heavier ball then sits up a little bit more for Federer to thump it, and Andy Murray's caught out of position.
Great. All right, second set.
Yeah, look, second set, pretty interesting. I felt this is where Federer really took a grasp of what was going to go on in the match. He had 7 break point opportunities. Basically, to me, felt like he could break at will, but he only got that 1 break point, which was enough to win the set, but it certainly put a lot of pressure on Andy Murray, and in that, it really, Murray had to play some of his best tennis not just to win a set, but just to stay in the set. It could have been a 6-1 set had he gone down those other couple of break points. So he was right under the pump all the way. Federer was coming to the net a little bit more and finishing points off at the net. So he was really stamping his authority and building on that first set victory.
Yeah, amazing when you've got to play your best tennis just to hold on and hang in there. All right, third set, it was a different story.
Third set, well, as we know, Roger Federer went away a little bit, and Andy Murray was only going to get one chance. In all this match, I felt if he got a chance, he had to take it. Unfortunately, he didn't. Although he got the break, Federer played a bit of a loose service game, a few unforced errors off the forehand, a few loose forehand volleys, but he didn't go on with it there, Andy Murray, and that's what he needed to do. Federer just settled a little bit. He didn't get upset or uptight about things. He basically just kept his flow, got things back on track, was able to break Murray when he served for the set there at 5-3. Held serve then for 5-4 and held at 5-4, and all of a sudden then it's getting into a tight position again. Andy Murray knew he'd missed his one and only opportunity there to get back into that match.
Yeah, Roger Federer opened up the window and he didn't jump through. Andy Murray didn't jump through it.
Well, look, had he jumped through, he still has another couple of sets. So sure. What Federer was saying in his post-match conference too was he didn't have to panic, or he didn't panic, because there is no need to panic. He's still got 2 sets under his belt. Probably the weight of expectation on Andy Murray was that little bit too much, which in the end took its toll, and we obviously got into a tiebreak.
Yeah, well, Andy Murray obviously a great player, just with a fantastic player happened to be in his generation above him. Andy Murray only 22. What a great experience he's now got under his belt.
Well, it's his second Grand Slam though. It's an experience, but he hopes he has better experiences in getting through and winning a Grand Slam. It's 74 years since the last British person won a Grand Slam, male that is, and the expectations from the British press that was here at Melbourne Park and across in the UK was absolutely phenomenal. And that shows he's passionate obviously about the sport, and he wants to have success for not just himself, but get that monkey off his back with becoming a Grand Slam champion. Yeah,
and the tiebreaker, the big decider. What a long one.
Well, a long one. 13-11.
13-11.
In the end, and Federer. Look, there was a couple of mini breaks each way there through that third set tiebreak, and I thought Federer probably had the momentum all the way, but when he had that match point and he hit a ripping forehand second serve there off Andy Murray's serve, had Murray on the back foot, short ball. Murray's 3.5 metres behind the baseline, and Federer's seen that, so he's played this, I think, a very average drop shot, which Murray got to in the end and hit it for a winner. And they're the points. That's just that 1 point that can turn things around.
Yeah.
It happened to Federer a couple of years ago in a semi-final match with Murat Safin. Tried the shot between his legs, was in comfortable position, lost that match, and possibly lost another Grand Slam right there. But it's that point that could have changed things. But Federer, true to his game and true to his name, turned it around and was able to go out and finish with victory.
Obviously, it meant a lot to both the players. Andy Murray obviously had an interesting speech there. You can see the passion and the hope and the desires all started flowing out from what was a great tournament for both players.
Well, the whole emotions for him. I mean, it was a letdown or a missed opportunity, let's say, but he had a great tournament all the way through. Failed to drop a set right through to that final there, or the semi-final. He did lose the opening set there, but that was the only time that he lost a set in the duration of the tournament. But look, the finishing up here, Michael, was probably seeing Federer with that celebration when he'd won, when Murray netted that last backhand into the net. The celebration that Federer showed to his crew over there in the crowd, but then the reflection. You see him after just look down on the ground, and he's just reflecting then on really what's gone on in the last 2 hours of his life, and now he walks away with Grand Slam number 16.
Yeah, well deserved as well. So we'd like to thank Will Hamilton from FuzzyYellowBalls.com and Ian Westerman from EssentialTennis.com for having us on board their live broadcast telecast, and it's Peter Tremacki and Michael Maidens from TennisAssist.com.